Hello there. What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking Joan of Arc, specifically this new Kickstarter for Joan of Arc 1.5, which is going to give you the opportunity, if you missed the original Joan of Arc, to jump on in and pick up tons and tons of stuff, as well as previous backers to come and get some new stuff. Or if you're completely new to Joan of Arc, you can get old stuff and all this new stuff as well. Tons and tons of content in this game. This is a monstrous game. It's so much that I honestly am overwhelmed kind of even approaching to how to talk about this. So I'm going to give it my best shot and tell you guys some of the high points, but honestly, there's so much to this game. This could be the last game you ever buy. No, and I'm not joking about that. There's so much to this game. It's absolutely incredible. So 1.5 is launching on October 1st, and it's going to be bringing in the Teutonic Knights, as well as a host of other stuff. I want to show you guys like some of the quality here. Now, these are small miniatures. This is like 10 and 15 millimeter miniatures. They're super tiny. But the detail is not missing. The detail is not tiny. The detail is incredible. I have already done an unboxing of the Joan of Arc stuff. I'll put links to that at the end of the video, as well as a review of like the base game. And because I'm not going to go into too much gameplay in this video, but rest assured, the miniatures are amazing. So if you like miniatures, this is a great game for you. If you like Euro gameplay, there's aspects of that. There's a lot of strategy, and there's little wooden cubes that you can use if you like little wooden cubes. If you don't like little wooden cubes, there's options to upgrade those into flags and plastic stuff. So the components are amazing. The artwork is amazing. The miniatures are absolutely amazing. Now, they do not come pre-painted. This is a painted example, but dude, this is great stuff. So, first off, this is all of the original Joan of Arc stuff, right? Look at all these boxes. I believe, just for the original Joan of Arc, it was already like the biggest game I've ever seen. Maybe the biggest game in history. As far as number of boxes, how big it goes, it's overwhelming. It's absolutely overwhelming. It's taken up so much real estate on my shelves. And and that's honestly, that is my one criticism of the game. It's like there's so much, it can feel intimidating to know where to start. Now, fortunately, you don't have to get everything. You can go in and just get kind of like this base game and get some stretch goals and stuff like that, and you'll have tons and tons of game. But every optional thing that you add onto this game adds a wealth of new gameplay, new scenarios. There's battle modes. You can build your own armies. Joan of Arc is a system. It's really almost like a game engine, and every scenario allows it to be played totally differently. Some scenarios are more combat-based. Some scenarios are pitched battles where you're really just trying not to lose that badly. Some scenarios are investigative and role-play-ish. And on top of all of that, you're getting amazing terrain on top of just the miniatures and the gameplay engine itself. There's some of the buildings that are in here. You have the siege pack that has an entire castle, and it's all modular. You can build this castle any way you want. And what's amazing about this, if you notice, I don't have the tiles in this particular image. And I decided to go with images instead of just live video for all of the footage, because there's just so much stuff, and it would have taken me so long to set up, because set up and tear down can take a while when you've got 20,000 boxes, because there's so much to this game. And of course, you can choose what you want to get. You don't have to get everything. You don't have to be like me and be like, oh, I want a stack of boxes that goes up to the ceiling. So I had to make 2 stacks in the other picture. So there's so much to it. But another thing that's amazing about this is that it serves so many purposes. In addition to just the base game, in addition to all of the extra scenarios that you're going to get, in addition to the battle mode, you're also getting amazing miniatures. So if you're a hobbyist, you're going to have so much that you can paint. Or you don't have to paint. You certainly don't have to. I painted some of mine, but there's so much to do here. It's going to take me forever until I can get this all painted. So, if you love doing that, there's so much here that's going to keep you busy forever. But on top of that, let's say you're playing other games. Yes, I'm going to talk about other games. If you guys have followed me at all, you probably know that I cover a lot of Star Wars games. I'm getting there. I'll get into some Star Wars stuff too. But if you like RPGs, you can use a lot of this terrain for RPGs. Castle Invasion Session, oh my goodness, you've got it covered. Villages, there's so many bushes. I can't even show you all of the terrain. There's so much terrain you can get with some of the different packs. It's absolutely incredible. The siege, you got siege equipment, you've got villages. There's so much you can do with this outside of the game, like just to set it up for RPG miniatures. And the thing is, because it's a smaller miniature, you can get much bigger scale battles. Honestly, if you wanted to set up a whole castle invasion and you're using like 35mm terrain, it's going to cost you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. It's going to cost you a tremendous amount. And the price point for this, for what you're getting, is unbelievable. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's a smaller scale. Now, that might make you think, well, what if I'm using 35mm miniatures? Well, you can certainly use these with 35mm millimeter miniatures, or you can kind of scale it out and say, okay, well, because we're doing a large scale siege for this part of our campaign, we'll use smaller miniatures. Now, all of these miniatures are in trays. I have kind of painted some of mine or stained some of mine with some stain, but you don't have to glue them in to the bases. They can come right out or come in, so you can have individual small millimeter miniatures, or you can actually pull them out. So you have a lot of flexibility on how you want to use this. And I think that's one of the things they had in mind here, is because like while a whole unit will be a tray and you'll have 3 minis, you can glue them in and just keep them there for the game. It might be a little easier for you. But if you want that flexibility to be able to pull them out and use those for other purposes, for maybe RPGs, because, oh, by the way, there's also an RPG here that factors in perfectly with it. So you can also play the Joan of Arc RPG, or if you want to play some other traditional RPGs like maybe Dungeons and Dragons or something like that, you can also use all of these for that. And because, oh, by the way, while Joan of Arc is based on the 100 Years' War, it's not just real stuff. It's not all just real factions. It's also all of the mythology that goes into it. There's werewolves and angels and demons and dragons. Have you guys seen the legendary dragon? There's a lot of stuff. So, and we'll showcase what you can do with the dragon, because while this big terrain is amazing for this game, it's also not too small to be used in other games. So those of you who know that I cover Star Wars games will know I play Star Wars Legion, and you can totally use this terrain in Star Wars Legion as well. So here we have, like kind of like the Battle of Hoth, but here's the thing. Star Wars is in a galaxy far, far away. There's all kinds of other planets. So even if you're not interested in maybe getting all of the Joan of Arc stuff, or maybe you're not 100% sold on, hey, am I only going to have to be able to do one thing with this? You can use medieval type terrain in a Star Wars Legion battle, because there's so many planets out there. There are planets in the Star Wars universe that will have castles. Look at Naboo, for example, and that's just a hair. That they're still modernized, but they have a lot of those Renaissance and ancient sensibilities in a lot of their design. You can absolutely use castles in Legion. So here's another option. Now the scale isn't perfectly there, but it's close enough, and it certainly works. And you could even say that this was another planet of smaller people. Maybe it was a Jawa planet, and the Jawa, or some type of, ancient version of Jawas, and they built the smaller castles. Either way, the terrain is certainly big enough, and you can see right here, it's certainly big enough to work with your 35mm games, your games or your 28 to 35mm miniatures games. It's absolutely fine for that. It works very, very well. The doors and everything might not, the doors will be a little bit smaller, so you can say, if you're doing like fantasy type stuff, it maybe is a kobold castle or something like that, or a goblin castle. But my point is, this terrain absolutely works for Star Wars Legion. It's very cool for that, and it kind of makes the siege mechanic of some of the Imperial units look very, very, very cool. So there's so much, and the reason I tell you this is because that just kind of illustrates how much more you can do with this than just the base game. And the base game is already incredible. There's so many scenarios. There's so many things that you can do with it. And by the way, there's so many other things that come with it, like the dragon. Have you guys seen this legendary dragon? It's absolutely huge, and my painting skills don't even do it justice. This one, I was messing around with contrast paints, but there's a lot better paint jobs than mine. But this dragon is so huge. I mean, maybe you pledge for just kind of the base games and you can choose your add-ons. Don't not get the dragon. Please get the dragon. The dragon is amazing. It's so huge. It's so incredibly huge. It's even big for Legion standards. and I have put this on as terrain in some of my Legion battle reports as well. Makes it an amazing centerpiece. It makes an amazing thing to go on your shelf. You know, and especially if you got an airbrush and you want to do this, or you're gonna have somebody who can professionally do it, and he can totally gobble up your Legion, your large minis too. So he's even that much bigger with the 10mm stuff. So he's absolutely amazing. So yes, take my word for it. If you get nothing else, at least try and get the dragon. But the base game's got so much too. You don't even have to go all in. But there's different types of pledges, and I will put a link to the Kickstarter down in the description below. So make sure you check that out. So a lot of times, you know, if you were to say, hey, you know, I want to hold out for the pledge manager and just get some different things, you know, they have that at $6. So you know, that's changing a little bit. So don't just drop $1 if you're doing that. Drop $6. You're going to spend more than that anyway. So that's just to differentiate between the two. If you are somebody who backed already with Joan of Arc for the original, they have different options for you to get the new stuff only. The Teutonic Pledge and then the Complete Pledge are going to have all of the stretch goals that are unlocked with this set. And there's going, you know, we'll have to see how many stretch goals there are. I'm actually anxious to see what kind of new stretch goals. But one of the things that makes the Deluxe Pledge, or the 1.5 Complete Pledge, really cool, and this deliberately addresses my only criticism for this game, is that they're coming to you with a game trays system. It's going to be a box that helps you sort everything out and makes your setup so much easier. That is huge, folks. Honestly, I love inserts, organizers, and when you've got so much game, I think that was one thing that Joan of Arc really needed. It has really been my only criticism, is that there's just so much. It can be overwhelming. This directly addresses that. So if you are a returning backer, this is I think you got to go at this level. That's my suggestion. But what if you didn't? What if you missed Joan of Arc? They have all kinds of. There are a lot of different bundles. I'm going to just talk about a couple of them. You've got the Core Pledge here, which kind of gets you, you know, a lot of the stuff that you missed from the first campaign. Not 100%, but there's different levels. You can get all. You know, you can add individual things to it, and then you can kind of go all in here if you are a returning backer, and this is getting you in. It's not cheap. It's not cheap, but the point that I'm making here is this is so much game that this could be the last game you ever buy. There's so many scenarios. There's so many miniatures. There's terrain. There's the neoprene mat. There's so much you're getting. I can't really talk about all of it. This obviously is not going to be for everybody, but there's so much here, and it's all, like, the minis are amazing. But again, if you want to see more of what comes in here, check out my links at the end. I've done unboxings of a lot of this stuff. It's absolutely spectacular. So without trying to like repeat what I've said in past videos too much, just you know, you can look into this some more if you're interested in kind of going all in. And there's so much more you can do outside of just this game, you know, using it with other games as well. The terrain is just really cool. And I'm going to say about like the castle and the siege one too, if that's one of the ones you choose to go for, which I believe does come here in the all-in pledge, it's really fun building castles. Like, it's really fun. I like that a lot. So yeah, Joan of Arc, October 1st, 1.5 coming to Kickstarter. Check them out. I hope you like it. And if it's not for you, then it's not for you. But if you like the sort of thing, you are not going to be disappointed. It's just amazing. Again, some more videos are going to show up right over here, so check those out if you want to learn more about Joan of Arc. Check out the Kickstarter, and that's all I've got. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Also, if you didn't know, there's another round of the giveaway going on right now, so you can enter to win a $25 Amazon gift card. We'll be announcing the winner to that next week. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment letting me know what is your favorite part of Joan of Arc, and if it's for you, or if it's not for you, let me know, you know, what was your favorite image? There we go. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.